Time for the main event!
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. I've been holding off on making this video for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of WWE 2K26 because they haven't really enabled cross-community creations, and I don't know if I'm going to keep the version of the game if they never enable it. Now, it's been almost 2 weeks as of the making of this video, and they still have not enabled the cross-community creations thing. I don't know what's going on. It's shut off currently. There is supposed to be a big update coming on the 30th for the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully that adds it in and it fixes all the issues, but until then, I'm a little scared to recommend this on the Switch 2. But regardless, if you care about cross-community creations or not, there's still a lot of pros and cons about the game. So I made a list of things I've noticed while playing with it. I've played mostly the PlayStation 5 Pro version, but I have spent plenty of time on the Switch 2 version to have a really good idea on if it's worth getting or not. So, without further ado, let's look at the pros and cons that I noticed for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of WWE 2K26. So just like any good pros and cons list, we're going to start with the pros, the good news. And the first one is it has an exclusive match type only available on the Nintendo Switch 2. I believe it's called Motion Brawl. Basically, you take the Joy-Cons and you can pick up weapons and stuff like that. It controls normally with the joysticks and everything, but they added little bonus stuff. So when you have a weapon in your hand and you want to have it do more damage when you throw it, you just flick your wrist like you're actually throwing the weapon, and it throws it like with a little more sauce. And it's so satisfying to do that, and it felt really, really good. They have multiple different functions that you can use with the motion controls. They have little pickup boxes, bonus boxes that give you like infinite stamina, stun grenades, all kind of crazy stuff. Kind of like Smash Brothers. It's basically the Smash Brothers mode, and I love stuff like this when it comes to like any game, like wrestling games, stuff like that. Just something different to do. I know Mortal Kombat has done stuff like this. I was kind of hoping they'd have like a slippery ring where you keep sliding over the ring, like take it a step further. Have the floor be hot lava where your feet are on fire the whole time. Just add in a bunch of extra stuff where, let's say you can't do any strikes, you can only do grapples. Like that's an avenue that they could explore on the Switch 2 version. I hope they do it on the other versions, but with the motion controls, this whole thing is really cool because it gives you an extra reason to buy it on the Switch 2 over the other platforms. And since the Switch 2 version is the least performing version visually, performance-wise, and all that kind of stuff, it kind of needs this to really stand out from the other versions of the game, despite the fact that the Switch 2's major selling point is that you can play the game anywhere you want. That is the huge feature. I feel like the only thing the Switch 2 really needs in general is an achievement system. If the Switch 2 and Nintendo can come up with an achievement system, I feel like a lot of people would migrate to the Switch 2 and forget about PlayStation and Xbox altogether. If Nintendo could come up with a cool way to have trophies or an achievement system built in and do their own little twist on it, I feel like a lot of people would switch, no pun intended, to the Switch 2 and forget about everything else, because being able to play anywhere is huge, especially when you have a lot of like family members, or you live with a bunch of people, or you don't have access to the TV, or heck, you don't have a TV and you can only have the Switch. There's so many versatility things that you could do with the Switch 2. So having anything like an exclusive mode to help it stand out from the other versions is huge. Like, you're not tied to your TV. Anyway, so that's really cool. Number 2. Plays and runs great in handheld mode. If you solely want to buy this for playing on the go, it is a great version of the game. It plays really, really good. I got about 4 hours, maybe a little less, of battery life when I was making wrestlers, playing matches. Now, if you play the online modes like the Island or My Faction, it does drain the battery a little faster. I didn't play the modes enough to have the battery die to test that, but while I was playing matches in Exhibition, testing it out, doing multi-man matches, checking out entrances, doing ringside pass stuff, I mostly spent my time on the Island, all that kind of stuff. It lasted for just under 4 hours, I want to say. So, great on the battery life. Now, when I played 2K24 on the Steam Deck, on low settings, the battery would die in an hour. Just to give you a perspective of where I'm coming from, because everybody's like, oh, just buy the Steam Deck. I have a Steam Deck. The battery life sucks, and most of the games, like every update would break the game and not function on the Switch 2, or the Steam Deck. for 2K24, every time they'd update the game, it stopped functioning on the Steam Deck. It worked great at first, but then they kept updating it and it totally broke. So my Steam Deck is sitting behind me somewhere on the shelf completely dead because I haven't touched it since 2K24 came out. But yeah, number 3. They finally added the image uploader this year. Now, when it first came out, the image uploader was non-functioning and didn't even have a spot for it. But the image uploader is up and running as of the making of this video. You can upload images, you can create stuff, so it's on par creatively with other systems. Maybe not visually, but it has all the features and bells and whistles that the other versions have. So you can go nuts and make creations on the go. So if you're a creator that likes to make a ton of different wrestlers like myself, well, now you can do it while you're taking a crap. You can do it while you're watching football. You can do it anywhere. Amazing. DMV, wherever you're at, break on lunch at work. If you're stuck at your grandma's house or whatever, you can continue to create wrestlers and get those done before you play the game on home or at home on the TV. So this is probably, I think, the biggest selling point for me when it comes to the Switch 2 version is the portability aspect that you can just basically make whatever you want on the go. Like, I'll be using this a lot as long as they get cross-community creations up. I'm afraid to spend any time making a wrestler on here until that's officially enabled, because if they have to go back on their word in marketing and say, sorry, Nintendo, we couldn't work something out, so we're going to have to block cross-community creations on the Switch 2 version again, well, then I'm going to try to get my money back, because that's the main reason I bought it on the Switch 2. I mostly play these games on the PlayStation, so I'd rather just create my wrestlers on the Switch 2, upload them to Community Creations, download them on PlayStation, put them in my universe mode, and just go from there. So that was the plan, but hopefully I can do that later, because I can't currently do it now. Alright, number 4. The ability to play the game anywhere, like we just discussed, is a huge plus, especially with all the Battle Pass style unlocks. Now, even if you don't care about community creations or anything like that, and you just want to be able to play the game anywhere, well, despite having to have an internet connection for the Battle Pass, all the other modes have a lot of stuff to unlock, and it'd be great to have it portably and be able to work on those unlocks anywhere that you are, just to get through it faster. Let's say you don't really care about listening to CM Punk talk about whatever the heck he's talking about in the showcase mode. Let's say you don't care about the actual storyline in the comeback or for My Rise, comeback My Rise mode, and you just want to unlock everything. Well, you can put some headphones on, either connect it to the Switch 2 to listen to it that way, listen to music, or just on your break silently and just play a bunch of matches to unlock all the stars you need in My Faction. You can do all the objectives in Showcase. Granted, you won't be earning RXP, so keep that in mind. If you don't have an internet connection, you will not be earning RXP for the ringside pass, so that'll suck. But yeah, you can do all the stuff and unlock everything on the go. That way, when you get home and you plug or dock your system into the dock, boom, you can play it on the big TV, play with all the stuff you have unlocked, and you're good to go off to the races. So being able to play it portable and just play it anywhere is huge. That'll help you progress through the game faster and get to the stuff that you really want to do, like Universe or getting your characters made. So, stuff like that. Number 5 for the pros list, if they ever enable it, like I've been harping on this entire video, cross creations will be a huge bonus for this game in the future. Imagine making your creations on the go and uploading them to use on other platforms like PlayStation, Xbox. That would be huge. That's like the major selling point for me of the Switch 2 version. Now over to the cons section of the video, the juicy part. I'll leave a little timestamp down below if you just want to skip to the negativity, because I know how you guys like to be negative down below. The cons for the Switch 2 version of WWE 2K26, number 1, and again, I'm just going to smash this home because this is a major, major issue, is no cross-community creations. I don't think I need to elaborate more, currently, as of the making of this video anyway. Hopefully they enable that. So if you're watching this later, make sure you look at the timestamp or when the video was uploaded, because 10 days from now, as of the making of this video, they might have enabled it. Or heck, even they could probably enable it today before I even get this video out. So ignore this, number 1, if they've enabled it. Number 2, longer load times on the Switch 2 version, naturally, because it's not as powerful as the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. I kind of assumed this would happen, but on the island, you really notice it when you're going into shops and you're trying to look through all the various creation parts, or you're trying to make your wrestler on the island. There is significant difference in load times versus the PlayStation 5 Pro. Naturally, I've kind of assumed that. It is a little jarring at first going from the Pro to the Switch 2, but if you've never played it on another platform, you probably won't even notice. But yeah, just know that there's slightly longer loading times while doing the creation stuff on the Switch 2. Number 3. Now this kind of shocked me when I was playing on the island this morning, trying to get footage for the game. That's probably going to be most of the footage in the background. There was a lot of lighting issues and effects, and the hair just kept going invisible. I hope this is just an island issue because I didn't notice it in exhibition as much, unless there was a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, it just looks really bad while playing docked on my big TV versus in handheld mode. It looks fantastic in handheld mode, probably because it's 1080p and it's a smaller screen it has to render to. But on the big TV where it touts 4K or at least 1440p, it doesn't look 4K to me, at least not on the island. And now I know the island might be an exception or something because it's it's a separate thing, but in the offline modes it does look pretty dang good, considerably. But for the island in particular, the game does not look that great while playing in docked mode. Like the background's fuzzy, the draw distance is really bad, even though the island's not even that big. The characters are really fuzzy, the cutscenes are really fuzzy, there's voice crackling. That's just stuff I noticed while playing on the island. I picked the Order of Shadows on the Switch 2 version, which, if you're into that kind of stuff, more power to you. It's a little bizarre. But yeah, other than that, it runs great. It's just mostly on the island in online modes. It kind of looks terrible. I don't know how the My Faction mode runs on the Switch 2. I only loaded it up to get my cards. I think I did one match on the Switch 2 version, and there was no lagging issues. But yeah, it was just as fuzzy, and I don't know. But for the Switch 2 version, hopefully they fix that. It feels like that should be an easy update. Just work on the performance issues of it, patch out some of the lighting, because the lighting effects were going bonkers while sitting there talking to the character on the island. I'm like, oh, that doesn't not look good. Number 4, later updates. Switch 2 gets updates last. If you look at the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and you think even PC, they're on version 1.05. The Nintendo Switch 2 version is on 1.03. Now, this is one of the major things that annoys me about third-party games on the Switch 2 in general, is they always get updates in the shaft when it comes to being on par with the PlayStation or Xbox. So what does this mean when we get to the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, and we have, let's say, 2K28 on the Nintendo Switch 2 version? Is it going to be left behind, way, way behind, as the next-gen system versions and the PS5 and Series X versions get all these updates right away, and they're on top of everything and test it out on there? And then the Switch 2 will eventually get updates a month, 2 weeks later. That, to me, they need to be on par with all systems. There's really no excuse for it because it makes it feel like the Switch 2 players are second-class citizens. I don't know if it has something to do with Nintendo having certification processes or whatever on their eShop, because I know they're a little stingy when it comes to certain things, but it really needs to be on par with all systems. The fact that they don't have it enabled yet tells me that there's something going on. Maybe they tried to fix or upload patch 1.04 and it just broke the game on the Switch 2 version. I have no idea. Maybe they have a special team for the Switch 2 version that they have to do it with. It just baffles me why games, especially sports games on the Switch 2, always get the shaft. It's super, super annoying because let's say the Switch 2 version is your main platform. Well, wouldn't you be annoyed that it's not up to snuff with the other platforms? It doesn't have to be obviously the same visuals and performance. That's never going to happen because it's way weaker than those systems. But when it comes to patches, when it comes to content, it needs to have the same things. Period. If you're selling it for the same price, then it has to have the same stuff. That should go without saying. It should be a legal thing. All right, number 5. Now, this was a rare occurrence, but there's frame rate dips if too much stuff is going on. So, During exhibition matches in the offline modes, when I was playing an 8-man match because I was testing out to see how the game performed, Stephanie Vicare's entrance with all the smoke, mirrors, and her championship and everything made the game chug down to, I want to say 20, 50. I don't have a counter to determine this, but it was chugging and getting real choppy. And the fan on the system went into overdrive. It's like, oh, that's not good. So if there's too many things going on during entrances, expect your system to get really, really hot and the performance to take a heavy, heavy dip. So anyway, thank you for watching. Sound comments below if there's anything to add for the Switch 2 version in particular. I think overall it's a great version of the game if you just want to play with the in-game wrestlers and have fun with it that way. It's probably the easiest version to unlock stuff currently because you can still do that gimmick where you set Eric Bischoff or whoever, where you can make him tap out every, 5 seconds, and do that repeatedly to max out the RXP. Obviously, they're going to patch that out. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. So you can still do that. Unlocking things in other modes is really easy too because you can just do it anywhere on the go. However, if you are really big into creations and you want to download a lot of stuff or upload a lot of stuff, I would hold off on buying it until we know for sure if that's enabled. And keep an eye on this video in particular because the pinned comment will change if they enable it on the 30th. So I'll make sure I'll come back and say it has been enabled as of blah blah blah, and I'll put it in there. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering. Thank you for checking out the video. We're got some big content coming to the channel. I got a live stream coming up later today if I can get it going. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but the day got away from me because I got carried away making wrestlers. We're going to live stream the My Rise mode today so I can finally play through it. I've been holding off because I wanted to do it on a live stream. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, stay frosty.